Good evening. Welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, welcome back. So this is just going to be a general update, and this is going to be a Motoko specific video. So if this video is not for you, I totally understand. And over the next couple weeks, I will have some more ICP specific videos coming out where I dive into some important things happening right now. I'm kind of getting backlogged in all reality. But just for the sake of this video, I need to clarify some things on the Motoko conversation that's been happening on Twitter over the last 1 to 2 days. All right. So, for starters, actually, before I get started, if you're watching this video and you're in ICP right now, in my opinion, the future is very bright for you as long as you don't screw this up. And I view ICP as really the biggest opportunity anybody like you or me is ever going to get. And I would just recommend to try to have a long-term mindset and a plan and educate yourself as much as possible. So there. Now, that being said, there will be different times where maybe certain things happen that are not ideal for certain people. And I feel like it's always worthwhile to try to figure out the best ways to deal with certain things or handle certain things, right? So moving into the conversation here, with Motoko Ghost NFTs, like the original Motoko Ghost NFTs, I still feel the exact same way today that I did last week, last month, and ever since I made my bet. And I think they're going to become some of the biggest, one of the biggest NFT collections in the entire space. And I view owning a Motoko Ghost like owning a piece of history because I think ICP is going to be the hub for the new web. And so that's my general take on Motoko Ghost sitting here today. I have no intentions of selling any of my ultra rare Motoko Ghosts anytime in the next 2, 3 years. And this situation has not changed that for me at all. I will discuss other things, as I go throughout this video, but that's my general stance on just the Motoko Ghost NFTs. With the Motoko Ordinals, I think they're going to do great. And yeah, I think they're going to do great. And I wish the project all the best. Personally, for me, I would be happy to pay 5 times over the whitelist price, maybe even 10 times over the whitelist price to ensure that I could actually buy some. And this isn't really about money for me. I've given away at least 5, maybe 6 Motoko Ghosts just in the last couple months, just so more people could be a part of the Motoko Ghost community and participate in future projects and initiatives. So this isn't, I don't mind paying, and this isn't about money for me. I will say that saying the Motoko Ordinals have nothing to do with Motoko Ghosts, if that's the official position, that's the official position. But that's a hard sell to a lot of us. It's a very hard sell to a lot of us. Now, not all of these Motoko Ordinals have the same color scheme as the Motoko Ghosts. Some of them do. And I'm not going to get into many of the exchanges and the posts and the questions and the answers and things that have been relayed over the last few months. I'm not going to get into that in this video. For the most part, I think everybody that has been observing this situation is generally aware. But I also want to say that if you were to go back and look at all the examples of me openly talking about these 3D Motokos, you're not going to find very many because I didn't really talk about this at all outside of throwing out a couple of suggestions about names for the new collection. Outside of that, you really didn't hear me talk about this. So if there were 3D Motoko Ordinals certain expectations with the general group as a whole. Those didn't come from me. So, yeah. And I will say on that as well, that from everything that I've seen and that I saw, this was not just like a few newbies who don't know any better jumping to wild conclusions and speculating. I saw 3 or 4 OGs in the ICP space and OGs in the Motoko Ghost space very much believe that what was coming out was the 3D Motoko Ghost version. That's what they believed this was. Like, I just got into, admittingly, just got into the Motoko Ghost space over the last few months. Some of these people have been in for a year or 2 years, ever since they launched the NFT collection. And I do think I've talked to a lot of different people, and I think that people's positions are spread out throughout the spectrum on this, which is a good thing. It's always good to have multiple different perspectives and points of view. But saying that this has nothing to do with the Motoko Ghost NFT collection is a hard pill to swallow. There is another aspect that comes into play here, which is whether or not there will be a Generation 2 Motoko Ghost. Because what would you expect a Generation 2 3D Motoko Ghost to look like? So if this isn't it, it's hard to imagine that there will be one. Because I would expect them to kind of look like this, right? And speaking hypothetically, if that were to happen, then it kind of gets into, okay, now we have 2 3D Motoko collections that kind of look the same. Investors, these are real serious questions that investors are 100% in the right to ask, and questions to bring up. Now, where you sit may very well dictate how you view this, right? I'm heavily invested in the Motoko brand. So that's going to play a role in why I have a lot of attention on this. Like, if somebody just owns maybe one Motoko Ghost NFT, and it's just like one of many NFTs they have, and it's made less than 1% of their portfolio, this might not be anything to them. If somebody is in a different community and they don't own a Motoko Ghost, and they're going to get a free airdrop for a Motoko Ordinal, I'm sure they would be thrilled. I'm sure they would be thrilled. So I guess where you sit will largely dictate how you view this situation. And another thing too, it is difficult for somebody in my position and or many other Motoko Ghost holders. It's difficult for us to look at this and say, we might have issues buying a Motoko Ordinal. Meanwhile, as very public, open advocates for Motoko Ghost NFTs, the things on the bottom, very big advocates for the Motoko brand, but we might not be able to buy. Forget about free air. It's not about anything being free or free money. Forget about that. We might not be able to buy a Motoko Ordinal, and people that have never supported Motoko Ghost, Motoko brand, anything, are going to get free ones. That's a tough pill to swallow. But I will be very open about this. I think they're going to do great. The more I hear, the better I think they're going to do. Throughout the channel, there's been different times, more so ever relating to things in the ICP space, where I'll be like, my spidey senses are going off here. And this is one of those times. So I think that they're going to do really well. And I would be happy to pay 5 times over the whitelist price, just to ensure that I could get some. So publicly, I changed my profile picture and my backdrop. That's a different story. I can be an extremely bullish investor on something like Motoko Ghost NFTs. I can be an extremely bullish investor on certain things, but not be a public brand ambassador. And so I just need to think through how I handle certain things publicly, because I have a platform and because that comes with certain implications. And so I just have to think through what's the best way for me to handle certain things publicly. Motoko will likely be one of the bigger brands in crypto, and it will do great with or without me or anybody else. And at the end of the day, this is their NFT collection. I'm just giving my thoughts, and I only speak for myself. My opinion is not that important at the end of the day, and not everybody shares my general stance. So at the end of the day, they can do what they want with their NFT collection. They created it. Looking at this is a tough pill to swallow. When you combine on top of this, it's not just this. When you combine on top of that, a lot of the exchanges and things that have happened over the last few months, that makes it a significantly tougher pill to swallow. And then when we finally do find out, the first thing that we're told, for the most part, this doesn't have anything to do with Motoko ghosts. But it's their NFT collection, and they can do as they wish with it at the end of the day. Okay. So yeah. So that's it for their foreseeable future, just as far as my thoughts on this. My DMs are open if you want to connect with me privately. I'm going to be relatively quiet over the next 30 days and see how things play out. And after that, I'll decide how I'm going to handle things moving forward. But if you're watching this video, if you're in the ICP space, you have the opportunity of a lifetime. There will be things that happen that don't align with your expectations, or that you don't like, or that you feel like should have been done a different way. But at the end of the day, guys, you have the opportunity of a lifetime in front of you. So don't let momentary things that happen cause you to lose sight of that. If I had to find one word to use, I'd probably just say this is just kind of sad and unfortunate. It's 2 words, 3 words. Yeah, I just call it sad and unfortunate. And well, I'm not going to go there. Guys, that's all I have for this video. And again, I think the collection is going to do great. I think it's going to do great. And I wish them all the best. Hope that I get to participate. And those are my thoughts. This was not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And I will revisit this conversation in about a month or so from now and go from there. But at the end of the day, come to your own conclusions, formulate your own opinions. Yeah, that's it. Take care. Have a good night. I'll see you in the next video.